This is back-to-back main events from a Chicago fighter. I know Jamahal Hill. They say fighting out of Michigan, but I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna claim him as a Chicago fighter because he's born in Chicago. So we got back-to-back Chicago fighters in the main event. Let's go.
Yeah, I guess we are becoming fighting city. Even and Thiago Santos. This is very interesting for me. But I'm
Yeah, who
going
you got?
to who I got. Oof. Again, I cannot go. How much is Jamal Hill favorite?
Let's
Sorry, let
let's pull that up. I know he is a favorite.
minus two
That's
seventy
a
five.
decent favorite.
Yeah, like I cannot just like on that that like you give Thiago Santos plus 230. I'm gonna take that all day, even if I lose.
Yeah.
For me, Thiago Santos is one of the best guys in light heavyweight category. Honestly, like
Right.
he had couple not that great performances, especially um, uh, 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 against who do I say, like against Rakic, but like also Rakic didn't have that great performance, So what to say, like, and he lost from John Jones.
Did
Who
he
else?
though?
Yeah,
I mean, he did, but one of those judges gave it to Thiago Santos, and
yeah.
that's
I mean, like, it was amazing performance. Like, I would be super happy that he managed to take the title from John Jones.
mhm.
That would be like really like. I think John Jones deserved it. Would deserve that. Like, to stay without the title, especially after all that shit that he
Yeah.
did through the years, like, but like again, like he's like a special kind, and I guess doesn't matter whatever he does.
He's
Still,
gotten gifted some decisions, I think, as of late.
yeah, I mean, I would be much happier that once upon a time, uh, how to say, Gustafsson took it away from
Mhm.
him. That would be, I think, maybe my favorite moment in UFC, to be honest.
Alex, do you know I was at that fight? I watched that fight live.
Really?
Yeah, that was in Toronto, Canada. Yeah, I was there for my birthday actually.
You never said that to me.
Yeah, no, and everybody in that stadium thought that Gustafsson won, including me.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. Like, very easily it could go other
Yeah.
way, and I think really Gustafsson deserved that title. And I think we would see even more from John Jones if he mm, got that lost.
Mhm.
So that's the question. Again, maybe it will be psychically destroy him, or it will be like a best martial artist, like even like in the years coming, nobody will get on that level.
Yeah.
But never mind. We are not here to talk about that.
Does Jamal Hill have a chance against Thiago Santos, who you claim is one
Honestly,
of the best?
talking about like he has something special like John Jones.
Hmm.
I think I never saw the guy who is attacking the body as much as Jamal Hill. That's like like when you say like, and I went back to Ankalaev, that he doesn't have that X factor last when I was putting money against him, and made mistake. But like that X factor, I think like he's really believing in himself, like Jamal Hill,
Right.
and plus like that body attacks are really amazing. He have power in his hands, but like what did I took over like rewatching his fights and everything is that. And also I have to go back rewatching again. I think he lost from Darko the fight against against my Serbian friend. Yeah, in his first fight in UFC. No, I was going over like he was making more damage and everything. But if you go back to the fight, he could easily lost round 1 and 3. And really
Mhm.
interesting, I think it was like on the score of the judges, it was like 29-27
Who was this again?
against Darko Stosic.
Oh, okay, okay.
He is from Serbia, and that was Jamal's first fight in UFC.
Uh-huh.
I think I don't know how the judges didn't give that last round to Darko. So if it was 29-27, that's like basically 3 times 8, yeah, 27, yeah. So he didn't won any round, but like one round, it was like 9-9. Like
Mhm.
that's crazy. But like in my opinion, rewatching, and I'm like little bit more biased. I
Yeah, yeah.
trained Darko and I know him for a long time, so maybe that also. But like I could see that judges go against.
Okay, Darko should be in the main event. That's what you're saying. That's what I hear.
That's
All
agreeing with me. That's my point.
right.
Okay, let's forget about that. Like, where we at? Who do you got first? Like,
Well, I'm impressed with Hill too. And before looking at these fights, I would say he's the easy pick. But after watching like Thiago Santos's fights, like man, he is really freaking good. And the guys that he's lost to, like he has lost more recently, they're all freaking killers, right? John Jones, who was the champ, Glover Teixeira, who became the champ, Alexander Rakic, who like
I
if it
actually,
wasn't for that freak injury, I think he's gonna fight for a title eventually. Like he's lost to some really good guys, and so like I think Santos, if he comes right with like a solid game plan, he could give Jamal Hill trouble, especially with the leg kicks. Like Santos, he has a very leg kick heavy game, and I think like in the John Jones fight, he fucked up both of his knees. Right, he had both knees, I think, underwent surgery, so it
yep.
took a little bit for him to get like back on track. But what I noticed in his last fight is he's back to throwing a lot of kicks again against Ankalaev, right? So maybe he could give Jamal Hill trouble. Who Jamal Hill, like he doesn't check a lot of kicks, but that power in that right hand of Jamal Hill, I think it might be too much. Interesting. He is a southpaw, but with that right hand, he cracked who is it? OSP. He finished OSP from Orthodox. So
Yep.
like I think his game plan is usually to kind of set shit up from southpaw, go to the body, like you said, and then switch to, maybe he's a right-handed fighter that fights southpaw, and he
Could
just
be.
switches to
Could be.
orthodox and
I
gets
even
him.
checked that, and we're gonna probably like in the future we're gonna have more talks about him, so we will have more knowledge about, and who knows, like about that. That's interesting thought. But let's go back to Santos. Like, is it possible that we are talking about the guy who is uh, 14-9 in UFC? He is 4-4 in light heavyweight. So imagine 4-4, and we are
Hmm.
giving him like so much props. That's saying like who he fought. Like,
Yeah.
and even if you go to his losses, like you said, like really easily against John Jones, it could go his way against John Jones.
Right.
Against Glover, he was winning that fight.
Hmm.
He was like,
And that was after two surgeries.
yeah, he was
Hmm.
winning that fight. And let's say he end up finished, you know, and that influenced his brain going into the fight with Rakic. Like he was like two in a row. He went in that fight, basically one of the first fights that I ever watched. Like
Hmm.
you didn't watch it, don't. You know,
Yeah.
even I think Daniel Cormier said like that both should get a loss.
Wait, wait, that's the first Rakic fight you've seen?
No, I watched his. I cannot say no, but like for this one, now we are doing analysis.
Yeah.
I have to talk shit, like otherwise I'm not talking shit against my people,
Right. I will.
Always
Okay, I'll
never,
agree with you.
never I salute.
That fight, I didn't love the fight, but outside of that and the Jan Blachowicz fight, like Rakic, he's impressive. I think he's got like some freak power on him.
Yeah, I think just like he needs to be a little bit more looser on the
Hmm.
trigger if he wanna, how to say. That's why even I think his way to the title is like a little bit longer, and like especially now after this freak accident like against Blachowicz, and I think maybe in that fight you saw his full potential, especially I think Blachowicz was a good matchup for him, and
Yeah.
maybe he would like, but we are not here to talk about him. We will have soon enough time as soon as he recover, and hopefully in some good matchup. Uh,
Hopefully. Yep.
Talking about Santos, yeah, and then like he had a win against Johnny Walker,
Yeah.
and then like again he got like a one guy, like I said, and I'm talking for a long time. I can see him as a future champion.
Yeah. Dude, I mean, with John Jones out of the picture, light heavyweight is pretty exciting. Like, you don't know who's gonna be the next champion.
Yeah, they're like changing like after the like how they change jerseys
Yeah.
uh, after the game. It's going, and I think it's gonna continue to go. If you look like now, I think especially if they match up Ankalaev and Prohaska, I think
Oh.
Ankalaev will be a new champion.
Mhm.
That's super bad matchup for Haska. I
Right.
think
Yeah.
that's the worst matchup for him, to be honest.
Uh huh. I mean, it's not that different than before John Jones. Before John Jones came, the light heavyweight belt was changing all the time, right? Shogun, Machida, Rampage, all those
Yeah,
guys.
yeah. Actually, you're right. I think the longest was like Chuck Liddell. Then it
Hmm.
was like stable, but like even then was like Chuck, Couture, Tito. Yeah.
Yep. Rashad, yeah. It was changing
Right.
all the time.
I-
205, it's a crazy division. No.
If you go, it makes sense. Like it's like close to the power of the heavyweights, and they have a movement of middleweights. Like
Yep.
so.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. Something interesting like that we can maybe try to break it down and see the history of 205, even maybe through the pride. Also like let's
That
see.
would be fun, yeah. That'd
That's
be fun.
something that we can do in the future. No, let's finish this and close the shop.
Okay, speaking of heavyweight power, I think Jamal Hill's got it. I think he's gonna take this one out. If he doesn't do it in 2 rounds, maybe Santos takes it just because of the leg kicks. I think that'll add up. But I got Jamal Hill inside of 2 rounds KO. How about you?
Yeah, I'll have to go again, like plus 230. Thiago Santos. I think this is like he's 38. Like
Yeah.
I think that this is for him to be or not to be. Like if you lose this one, he's going back. Not one, not two. I think few steps behind.
Yeah.
So and honestly, like I can see him that this matchup will be good for him. Because he likes the people like who are gonna every time when Jamal Hill will attack, he will get something behind.
Mhm.
He will Thiago will explode. And honestly, I think Jamal Hill, as much as impressive he looked in previous fights, I think this is biggest challenge for him.
For sure.
And we still didn't see him with anyone like this caliber. Like OSP, even though all respect, he even came to the title fight. I wouldn't put him even close to the level of Thiago Santos. You
Hmm.
know, so I'm gonna go with Santos on this one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think Santos has a chance. And especially like on those plus 230. Like I'm gonna try to see something, and especially like I'm gonna probably bet after the match start and like
Mhm.
first few feels, then I'm gonna pull my trigger for something more serious. But like this in some parlay, I'm gonna go with Santos.
And I think of all the underdogs to pick, like Santos probably is the best underdog on this card. You know,
Yeah,
he
for sure.
he's
Yeah,
got so much experience, and Jamal Hill, he doesn't have a lot of fights, and most of his fights in the UFC have actually been in the Apex, so no crowd, and this is gonna be with a crowd at a live event, and that's where Santos has more experience. So could that be a factor? We'll see.
yeah, and I think this is the last one, like for Santos, like the last one to stay in the big leagues. I mean, 38,
Hmm.
not a big loss. I mean, not really big, but like
Yeah.
it's like it's taking away from him. Like especially those injuries, surgeries. Like I think like this is his last train, so I think, and honestly, I hope we're gonna see the best Santos ever.
Same. Same.